Okola elekere no nkohorochi na 92.5 Enugu Stream FM Kinegente onye na noni abo onyi pino n'oge nsibidi Igbo Amaka kaino ugbu a cheta na ọkọ elekere ise nkohorochi anyị ga-eweta emume a na njedebe dịka anyị nachitela azụ anyị ga-abanyezi na agba nke ikpeazụ enwe isiokwu dị ọkpụrụkpụ anyị ga-enebe anya na ya na nke taa anyị nwere ndị ọbịa na studio. We have guests in the studio. Fachọli ikwu okwu gbasara ife dị mkpa tax system in Enugu and matters arising. Ọ gasị nke a pino na-asụ bekee ọkwa ife ọlụ nye taa anyị ga na-agwabi agbagba bekee na Igbo. Fachọ ikwu ife gbasara usoro ụtụ isi na Enugu na okwu ndị isi ya. Enugu State government has introduced a consolidated tax regime and e-ticketing to ensure a one-stop shop revenue collection aimed at eliminating all forms of multiple taxations and touting all revenues accruing to the state. The executive chairman of Enugu State Internal Revenue Service, Emmanuel Namani, who made the disclosure while briefing journalists in his office in Enugu, said the new tax system would be launched on September 27, 2023. He also said that by the new formula, all the taxes such as business registrations, environmental levies, and all local government taxes on businesses operating in the state would be built into e-ticketing and pay yearly. Nka wena time back. Na nketa ndị anyị na-afano na studio, we have Nebo Obinna Collins. He is a member Enugu State Tax Justice Platform. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we also have Zulike Chiedozie. He's from Civil Resource Development and Documentation Center, SEDOC.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, good to have you. All right. What's your view of the recent tax system in Enugu? This question goes to you, Nebo Obinna Collins.
First of all, I want to commend Enugu State Tax Justice Platform for the good work they are doing. And before I answer the question, I want to give a brief background to what we do at Tax Justice Platform. Tax Justice Platform or Network Africa is a Pan-African initiative established in 2007 and a member of the Global Tax Justice Network. So it seeks to promote socially just, democratic, and progressive taxation system in Africa. So it also advocates for pro-poor tax regime and the strengthening of tax regimes to promote domestic resource mobilization, and it also aims to challenge harmful tax policies and practices that favor the wealthy and that aggravate and perpetuate inequality. So our main goal is to mainstream tax justice in the discourse of African civil society and also provide a platform dedicated to enabling African researchers, campaigners, civil society organizations, policymakers, and investigative media to cooperate in the struggle against illicit financial flow, tax evasion, tax competition, and other harmful trends in tax policy and practices. So this platform is a civil society organization that looks at government policies, programs, implementation strategies, and reforms that affect tax justice. And it is not saying that people shouldn't pay tax. No. It's a platform that promotes efficient and effective way of tax collection in order to enable progress of the society in a way that is not harmful to the people. So Enugu State Tax, as a member of the network, I can strongly say that Enugu State tax reforms so far is highly commendable. For years we have been working in this area, trying to ensure the shortages or curbing, tax leakages in the areas of, especially in the area of tax collection. We have worked with different local governments, and we have also worked with the state government. But the current administration, while we try to also participate in this engagement, is also to encourage and assist government initiative towards effective tax collection in a manner that the tax system will be public responsive, so that it will not be a tax system that will only tax the poor to feed the rich, and it will not be a tax system that will be harmful to the people. It will not be a tax system that will be antisocial. I remember those days, in our communities, they are saying also tax in the tax force, so these issues, it will not be a burden to people. As a member of this network, we want a tax system that people will be paying happily, and people will also be seeing public service being carried out, especially in the issue of insecurity that is common in Southeast. If the government can look at using taxpayers' money to provide the basic needs, like the issue of water that is lacking in Enugu, the issue of tackling insecurity, that is also a challenge in the whole Nigeria, not only in Enugu state, the issue of housing that is affecting the people, the issue of basic public infrastructures, good roads. Now, the tax form in Enugu, we have different perspectives. Some people are happy with it, some people are not happy, but I don't know why. Maybe they are not used to paying tax. But the reality is that we need tax to be able to drive government developments. Without tax, governments cannot implement development plans and strategies. So, and tax is also inability to pay tax is illegal by law. Apart from the national tax policy, Enugu State has a domesticated state government tax, which I don't know if people have it as a copy, either soft or hard copy. But there are clauses that define what people should pay, how people should pay, and it is quite commendable that Enugu State government has started looking at the angle of using electronic system to make tax payments convenient. I was privileged to be in some markets across Enugu, and I discovered that some people some people have started this e-ticketing for keke, all those informal sector, e-ticketing, which is good. The benefit is that it will reduce illicit flow of cash. If government is targeting to make 50 billion, or moving the economy from 30 billion US dollars to 50 billion US dollars, is something that you have to look at. Where are those leakages going from? Where is government losing money from? And for government to initiate that kind of electronic payment system, it is government is trying to curb those leakages. But it is also good that government sets a tax force that will look at those people sabotaging government efforts coming in the name of Agbero. While government is trying to introduce a system that will be accommodating, some people will use the same government name going around molesting people, intimidating people, and forcing people to pay tax.
And extortion.
And extort people. They will not be selling government tickets. Two is that there is need for synergy between state government and local government, so that it will not be like the state government is collecting tax from one means, the local government is selling tickets, the state government is using e-tax payments, the local government is selling tickets. So when there is conflict of this issue, which we label multiple taxation or double taxation, it will influence public responsiveness towards tax payments. You understand? So, but there are different narratives. Some people say that that they love the welcome development by the state government, but the issue now is that there is slight increase in the price, that they were not effectively communicated.
Okay. Now, would you say that the current tax system in Enugu is public responsive?
Yeah, the thing is that, this government is barely 12 months in office. You understand? As an active citizen I can tell you that Enugu state government has been working. If you go to Holy Ghost right now, there is total shutdown, blockage. Government is working there. If you go to 9th Mile Road, Amabre Wells, Enugu state government is working there. If you go to Dudukoko in Enugu South local government, Enugu state government is working there. If you go to Noahs in Enugu East local government, Enugu state government is working there. Now, coming to pipe-borne water, Enugu state government have reformed tax water sector to be able to improve services. In fact, there was a issue of changing the management entirely, but I don't know if that I don't know, it's a government decision, I don't know, but there was a rumor that government want to do total overhauling to be able to initiate a system that will effectively distribute water. And if you go along the roads in Enugu, you see that there are openings made by government to be able to channel water to different households across Enugu. These are government initiatives, and these things are not being done with individual money. This is a project of Enugu state government done with public money, that's taxpayers money. So now, as active citizens, our responsibility should be, why we are paying this tax, how are we monitoring the government deliveries, how are we actively engaging the government to ensure effective public service delivery? Because if we pay this tax as citizens and we don't actively involve in the implementation of this system, we don't actively involve ourselves in government budgetary allocations, we don't actually involve in project management, we don't even know the contractor that is doing this thing, that is implementing projects in our communities, it will be difficult. People can only complain, but the reality is that governments have to run. You understand? So I cannot say that maybe there are different opinions, but I don't represent the government as I sit here, so I cannot say that government is 100% right. Of course, government is an imperfect system, but they continuously improve themselves through reforms and continue reviews in policies and programs they do to be able to meet the day-to-day demands of the society. So I believe that maybe government have started, but while they are implementing the tax system, we are also looking at ways to also improve on the tax system and looking at areas of demerit where government is not doing it well, and if we engage policymakers at that level, just the way we are doing here, we know that government people are also listening. So in the course of this course, they can be able to deduct or extract some necessary information that will form part of policy and programs while we are moving on in Enugu. Don't forget that there is a Enugu state tax law, and that law is not a Bible that is not unreviewable. Okay. So it's not a religious book, it's a policy made for human beings. So as time goes on, if there are leakages or areas where that policy is not meeting the necessary demand of the public, that policy can also be subject to review. You must not even wait for government to review the policy. You can introduce it at the floor of the legislature for them to look at these policies and look at these issues within the policy and be able to see if they can review and tackle those issues within the policy. So far, I cannot say categorically that the tax system is perfect, but I say that is making progress. Is good to be to start this way. So while we are making progress, as all of us are part of the government, both the people and the people in the power, so we can be able to make our input and find a better way to improve our society. Don't forget, all of us live in Enugu, and Enugu belongs to every one of us. So if Enugu gets it wrong, it will affect both the government and the people. If Enugu gets it right, all of us will stay happily and benefit from doing the right things. But so far so good. People, there has misreaction, and I believe that government initiative and government people were able to listen to the people and be able to tackle, these challenges or whatever reaction they are getting from the people, to be able to meet the necessary demand of the people.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nebo Obinna Collins. You talked about multiple taxation in Enugu. Okay. I would like to ask Zulike Chiedozie, how does this affect business owners? Multiple taxation.
Basically, just like my colleague said, Enugu state governments they've harmonized the taxes, the tax in the states. Keta Anwana Akuzi, I'll be actually be mixing it English
okay,
and
perfect.
Keta Anwana Akuzi just to the state government, and they have also introduced the e-ticketing.
Okay.
But basically, the markets people will be opportune to go to some of the markets to ask them exactly what they are facing, because just like my colleague said, Enugu State increased their tax from 5,200.
Yeah, this is from traders' perspective. We conducted a research looking at how government is improving. It's in line with our core, core goals as a tax justice platform. So we conducted research to see the level of responsiveness and improvement that comes with the tax reform in Enugu State. So the field information we got from traders was that there was tax increase actually from 5,400 they pay per annum.
Since when?
Yeah, I think it started from this January or February.
Okay.
Yeah, so they paid from, I think they usually pay 5,400 per individual trader. So, but now it has been increased to 21,000 naira per shop. So, and they express their displeasure, but it is something that you engage government at the highest level, for government to look at it. Maybe government can initiate a process of conducting market assessment to look at who has the capacity of paying tax, because they are in tax. There's what we call progressive tax. That's what we stand for as tax justice platform, to make sure that the poor has not been extorted to empower the rich. So that's the justice there. So look at the traders, look at their individual capacity. There are some people who can even pay 100,000 a year comfortably, and they will not shake. So, but there are people whose capital in the market is not up to 20,000. And they cannot be able to afford this money, even though government was kind enough to say, okay, people who cannot pay the 21,000 naira per annum can pay maybe 200. I don't know, they sliced it daily. Daily, to be able to meet up. But we also know that akani nararo so we know that the current administration is a very citizen-friendly administration. The executive governor of Enugu State is a man who listens to people if you have opportunity to interact with him. So on that note, tax justice platform have been making efforts, but we're also looking at traders. If there is a kind of mediation, they can have interaction with the government. You don't come and start fighting with the government. No, you look at what you proffer solutions on what governments can do to get it better. So in our own little way as a tax platform, which we know that we are trying to engage the government, we want government to conduct market assessment and look at individual traders' capacity to be able to pay these things, because some traders are what I call either peasant traders or subsistent traders that deal on cheap goods. They are only surviving by daily gains, and these people may not really meet up with responding to tax, and then become tax defaulters, and it will affect them. So in the magnanimity of His Excellency and the government in power, I know that they can be able to listen and find a way to run around, to be able to accommodate everybody, so that there will be justice in the tax collection. But I strongly believe that tax is part of governance, and once we be able to pay tax, let us not stay one place and start procrastinating and antagonizing. Let us also participate in the government. Just like I told you, I'm not from Enugu South. I'm from Udi. But I know that governor is working in Odudukoka. I categorically mentioned the place. He's working in Odudukoka. And he has been, that road is 60%, almost 60% done. The one in Atama Brewell, government is working there. The one is 9th Mile, leading from 9th Mile Junction, bypass between Enugu and Onitsha Road to Coca-Cola. That's Odoano. Governments have worked there. So this is how citizens should work. You should not be inactive and sit one place and be blaming government. If you are saying that government is collecting tax, go and check what government is doing with your tax. If there is insecurity issue, His Excellency is the Chief Security Officer of the state. Engage him through your leaders, through your traditional rulers, through your PGs, through your House of Assembly representative, through your commissioner from your local government. Engage His Excellency. Commissioner is a member of the State Executive Council. Engage them. Tell His Excellency that see what is happening in your community. If you become a dumb citizen, you will not get any result. But if you actively engage, report issues, engage in issues, if contractor in your community is not doing anything, report to government, engage the government. Not only time you come and be protesting at all times. There are some things you don't protest. Some of these contractors have been paid up to 50%, 70% deployment to be able to carry out. If they are not doing what they're supposed to do, report to the commission, Ministry of Works. Report to your House of Assembly member representing you in the state assembly. Report to your commissioner. Report to different leaders who have access to His Excellency. You must not have access to the governor for you to achieve. In fact, sometimes some of these job duties are delegated, and anybody serving under the State Executive Council is directly under the umbrella of His Excellency. So they work for the governor. So whoever that does not fall in line with the vision of the government of the day, you have the right as a citizen to report so that the government can take necessary actions to be able to carry out their duties effectively.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I'll direct these questions to you. Zulike Chedoze, how can the government address the challenges faced by business owners regarding tax payments?
Okay. There are several ways anyway. But from the assessments we made, some of the recommendations from the traders, they actually suggested that the government should come and access them, you know.
Okay.
Because
if they can okay.
You know, so that kama only capacity only gakun gakun.
Okay.
Go. Then from there they can start, because a lot of people gakun more than that to 21,000 naira, and a lot of people gaku less than that 21,000 naira.
Okay.
You know, so this is one of the recommendations hanye.
Okay. All right. Nebo Obina Collins. Okay. All right. Then, do you think that government can improve? What do you think government will do to improve the tax system?
Yeah, the obligation of the government, if you look at the government, core government responsibility, government is just an apparatus of the state. And the duty of the government is the machinery that run the day-to-day activities of the state to be able to improve lives and properties. I don't like being too professional, but let me just say, by the law, section 14B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that is binding all of us, government's role is to protect lives and properties. That is the statutory obligation of a government in Nigeria, the statutory obligation of the state. You understand? And this constitution supersedes every law, by law, both at the state level, at the local government level, and the federal level. So by the virtue of that, I can say that it's the responsibility of Enugu state government to be to deliver. It is not something the people have to beg for. It is a statutory obligation. It's by right. Unfortunately, chapter 2 of the constitution which discuss about fundamental principles of social welfare and the economic, well-being of the people, is not enforceable by law. So what I mean by that is that either you tax a government agbaga akwụkwọ na court, either na industrial court or emebe onwe nke na-eme na Lagos, they call it mobile court. Okay. Yeah, so ije court nke amaghị ịda na amara gị ikpe ị gara nga or ije na police station or nye gị labor camp ebe ị eje tachala obere afọ for sometimes, amara m ka na-eme na Nigeria mana ndị ọcha na-eme ya.
Adima ojirila ọkara wee gafee elekere anọ nke ohorochi na 92.5 Enugu Stream FM ka ị na-ege ntị. Anyị ka nọkwa n'emume nsibidi Igbo Amaka. Onye na-anụ ya bụ onye Pino. Cheta na anyị ga-anọgide ebe a ganye n'elekere 5 nke ohorochi. Nye wutena gị maka etu anyị si wee pụọ n'ikuku. Sorry for the break in transmission. Kita anyị nachitela azụ, anyị ga-aga n'iru na ife anyị na-ekwubu maka ya. Cheta na ndị anyị na-afa nọ na studio bụ onye nke mbụ bụ Nebo Obinna Collins, ọ bụ member Enugu State Tax Justice Platform, na Kwazulike Chiedozie from Civil Resource Development of Documentation Center SEDOC. Anyị na-ekwu maka tax system in Enugu matters arising otu isi usoro eji atụtụ isi n'Enugu State na okwu ndị so ya ka anyị na-eneba anya na ya na nketa. Enwere ife anyị na-ekwu tupu anyị apụọ n'ikuku. Nebo Collins, how the government can improve the tax system.
So like I was saying, ana m enye background to these things. I was trying to quote the constitution and the legalities surround and why it is government responsibility to provide. But government I provide na kankete, all tax I quota. They mobilize through federal allocation, the sale of natural resources we have, and tax payment from companies, private corporations, informal sector and formal sector businesses, personal income tax, value-added tax, company tax, levies, and some of these things. That's how government make money, to be able to address the issue of both recurrent and capital expenditures captured in the government. So Chapter 2 of the Constitution, like I said, is not enforceable. Either you tax jenga abaya ukwana court. But unfortunately, our people are proactive. I was listening to the Deputy Speaker, Nigeria House of Representatives. He was talking about tax constitutional review and fortunately, onye side the ban, onye on the Danya East. East here. So our people are not interested. Our people now try banya onya bodo ebubono onya bute misfortune. While we are doing our work as civil society, even we that are doing the work as society, we don't even get appreciated sometimes for what we do. But we don't. It's not because of that. But this is more technical part of democracy. Democracy is not just about election. Democracy has election as an aspect, a component of democracy. You have democracy in governance proper, and that governance is shrined in constitution. There is according to Evidaisi, rule of law, there must be law and order for a state to flourish. Yeah. You understand? Yes. Now, that chapter 2 of the constitution is not enforceable by law. What I mean by not be enforceable by law, Makande Male constitution. You cannot sue government for not providing your basic social amenity. You can only criticize the government on social media. if you use some derogatory statements, the individual you criticize can come and lock you up in with law enforcement agents. The individual you insult in government can come and sue you and label you anything. So many journalists and activists have been sued before. So what it means is that if government fail to provide those amenities, you cannot sue government for not providing them. If I have Constitution 1999, and look at today, we are over 20 something, we are about 21 years or 22 years in this democracy from this current 1999 down. So 20 something years, interaction have been going on, people have been voting, but they don't care about the Constitution. And I've seen senators, I think one senator from Southwest came out strongly and said that with the Constitution we operate, we are not going to develop. In fact, any governor that is working for the people should be commended. Any governor that is public oriented, that is people oriented, should be commended. That's why when I see any administration that is working towards public infrastructure, basic payment of salary adequately, payment of salary is right, but because that particular part of the Constitution not providing for basic principle of social economic welfare thing is not enforceable by law, you cannot sue. How many past governors have you seen anybody sue? It happened in Osun State. The past administration there were owing salaries up to 7 months, and they after their tenure in the office they left. Nobody sued them for not payment of salary. It's a constitutional matter. And right now in the National Assembly, constitutional amendment is going on. Some people are sitting in the corner of their house saying that Nigeria, if I you cannot expect Nigeria to heal himself. Nigeria cannot make itself better. There's no fish that came with all these bend shape. It's somebody that will give it that shape. So whose responsibility it is to make you are expecting your governor to leave the public service delivery, his own mandate, to be pursuing constitutional matters? How many of our people go to our senators to discuss constitution and participation? Politicians this is how our people messed it up. Unity of purpose. Our people doesn't have unity of purpose. We betray ourselves randomly. You understand? If you start pursuing a cause that will benefit the society, people within that cause will still go and betray you. And once you are not united, you cannot achieve a purpose. I'm standing here because of Tax Justice Platform, not because I'm Collins. And I made it categorically. See what this platform stands for. We're talking about tax justice, and that's why I'm discussing here. Before, so I will discuss about youth. When I was in youth parliament, I did a lot of work in youth sector. After Kanrapu Youth Parliament, I stopped engaging. When I was in the National Youth Council of Nigeria as a state secretary in Enugu here, I participated in the Southeast Constitution Review. I represented the youth, played the demand of the youth. I left those sectors. I stopped participating. So what is hindering our people? Organized pressure groups to engage in critical sectors. We are talking about, okay, these constitutional matters we are talking about is we come down to the states for voting. How many of them will engage their state legislators to vote on basic interest? It's not about election and HMF next 4 years. That person you voted for, what is he doing there? Is he representing you? Engage the person. Even constitution, interest, your constituents. Mobilize and go and meet them. That's what puts politicians under pressure. Politicians, sometimes they don't even have that kind of money. If you want to make big money, go into business. The richest Nigerians are not political Nigerians. Go to Forbes. Some people may doubt it. The richest Nigerians are not political Nigerians. Dangote wechalo, Mike Adonu ga-enwelu, Mike Adonu ga-wechalo, Bua enwelu, Bua wesiaru, Otedola Enwelu. These are not politicians. These are private businessmen. Herbert Wigwe, the former chairman of Access Bank that died, he's not a politician. He has one of the biggest universities in Africa. So ijebe na business capitalist. Nigeria is a capitalist society. But when you talk about service delivery, this is government. Government may have a program to empower the people. In fact, the way our people respond to it is not encouraging. It's not even encouraging those in government. Sometimes you go, okay, there's a scenario, I was part of it, I engaged in community, they share government want to empower people on fishery business. They gave some fingerlings, gave some money, gave some training. Some people dropped the burgers of fingerlings there and took the money and ran away. And tomorrow you say that government is not empowering people. This is the constitutional thing. That empowerment program is part of the constitution. That is part of the social welfare program government should be doing. It's chapter 2 of the constitution. Even if government decide not to do it, you cannot sue government for not doing it. And that's what I'm trying to say. So anybody, any government that is responsive, any government that gives you listening ear, work with everything abroad will not go agree. Sometimes we have to make informed decisions. We have to make informed directive. How many of us as citizens have sent solutions to government? Do you think that those in government knows it all? Those in government classmates power, but those guys, they did not come from heaven. They are not perfect human beings. They are only privileged by political situations to be able to drive the government. So while we are saying that government let us look inward. Somebody asked a question. So Nudega in the southeast, Governor Oti, where is Governor Oti getting the money from? Where is even governor of Enugu State getting the money from? Where is Governor Soludo getting the money from? When Umahi was governor in Ebonyi State, he did a lot of projects there. Where did he get the money from? How did our people participate? When you meet these men, what are you telling them? If you have 30 seconds to pitch, to discuss issues, or pitch to them anything you want to say, maybe in regards to your community, you're talking about issue of health, this thing and this thing. What do you go there to beg money? If you think that you are paying too much money for education and you want to go to school, beg government to channel some resources in subsidizing education instead of we did an engagement. To the glory of God, the government have stopped the payment of junior secondary school students in Enugu State. Everybody is benefiting from it. So anybody that has a ward or a child in junior secondary school level will benefit from it. So our attitude towards governance is also what drives the government to either be effective or ineffective. So what Enugu State should do to improve tax policy and program is a continual process. There is no I made mention here that tax law is not static. It is not a Bible that you cannot alterate. So it's a law made for people. It's even a bylaw for Enugu State. It's a bylaw because we have tax law at the national level, and the state is also working. State tax board is also working with FIRS. That's why they have JTB, Joint Tax Board. So that as a salaried earner, your personal income tax is going to the state, while governments at the federal level have already have the limits or areas or flanks where they can collect their own tax from. So these are the realities. So if you are not informed, you cannot even proffer solution. You cannot even engage. You speak out of ignorance. Ignorance is not an excuse. Ibanga of Oginanya. Okay. So Enugu State government tax policies should be made public. I've searched for it online. People can also engage their State House of Assembly members to get a copy of it. You can visit the State Archive. You can visit the office of the clerk to get a copy of it. So this is something that is accessible. If you really desire to get it, you can get it and read it, understand it, assimilate it, know when tax collectors or enforcers are going beyond the boundaries of the law. You understand? Because if you don't know, onye that person, that big man you are expecting no gị onye zi ka oje na tax nwee ka olu ebe ahụ ọma ya ụla ọ bụrụ ife ziri ya mee o ọmawacha gị ntị ọ bụrụ ife ziri aka oluo mgbe ahụ ekpi okpechie gị ọnụ sị gị na o nwere ife ọma gị. You cannot do anything because he can provide the evidence na ọma ya ụla ka evidence, so he can deny you. So but if you understand this law, you can tell the person na efe law okwu na maya menka na menka, you defend yourself. So it's also a tool for defense for the public. You understand? So let us not look at government from always the negative angle of it. Let us look at government as our business too. That if the government of the day needs support, we should always be there to support the government. And from our own tax justice platform, we made mention here that we are suggesting that Enugu state government, which we know from the infinite wisdom of the current administration, they are going to look at it if they are listening to this program. Look at the issue of tax assessment in the market, especially in the rural market, to know who has the capacity to pay what, and that is where tax justice platform anchor to make sure that anybody that has the capacity to pay certain amount of tax rate should be given, so that it will be justly distributed, so that not if you look at somebody that is earning 1 billion naira a year and look at somebody that's earning 100,000 a year, you give them the same amount of tax, which is not just. You understand? So that is our own angle, and we are appealing to the state government to improve and look at holistically. Just like I told you earlier, that the implementation started by the first quarter of this year, and we are still at the first quarter of 2024. So while the implementation is going on, while the policy is being running, we are looking at the weaknesses of the policy, we are looking at areas to improve the policy, and we are looking at also encouraging the government to improve in certain areas and continue doing in certain things and all that. So that is what I think we should do. For now, we cannot holistically criticize the policy, you understand, the tax law. So but when we look at the implementation, we also do a deductive engagement to know areas the policy will improve. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Nebo Obinna Collins. Now we'll open the phone lines. The number to call is 0809 8888 I'm Nana Cheze Kaiwe Boba. I got Batandi na hello. Ohoro Chioma Daluso. Afa gị na-ebisi akpọ.
Nebo Collins na nwuji I'm my team non.
Oh. Okay, I know
Nke abụrụ nke ka abịa sigbo Igbo. Anyị chabụ ndị Enugu ife chọrọ ka ntinye ọnụ n'okwu n'ihe gbasara this tax a na-ekwu okwu ya.
Okay.
Amaghị na anụ ihe mmekwu ọfụma.
Anyị na-anụ ife na-ekwu gaa n'iru.
Ama m na so ihe mmekwu bụ nke a ada m iso Igbo na mgbede a. Maka na ndị be anyị gee ntị, ndị be anyị Enugu steeti bụ ndị ama ama dịka ndị Igbo. So iji wee sobazie oyibo bụ iji wee confuse ha, maka na amụkwasị na-aka mma n'oyibo. Dijolimbo na-ekwu esi mgbọrọgwụ ka wee bịa. A na-enwe federal allocation ihe eji arụrụ anyị. Oke, ọ bụrụ na gọọmenti na-ana tax na-asị ndị mmadụ ka ha kwụbazie tax, na onwe ndị nwere kapasiti ịkwụ 100,000, onwe ndị nwere kapasiti ịkwụ 150,000. Oke, ụmụ ihe niile a mere ka a na-akwụsịsị. Oke, ị na-achịkwa anyị na gọọmenti nye ọrụ na anyị nwabụ ndị nọgasị na ebe a na-alụ ọrụ kwesịrị ịpụta ihe ganye gọọmenti rịpọt. Kee ka a ga-esi wee gọvanọ nyere ofele ka a ga-esi wee bịa nye rịpọt ma ọzọ mte lagat. Gọvanọ nye ọrụ nye ga-eje n'ọrụ nye ndị mmadụ ndị kọntraktọs ma ụlọ ọ na-agakwa nke ọfụma. Ihe m na-ekwu ihe a bụ taksị a na-enyezi ndị mmadụ bụ too much, nke bụ na ka abụtu wee dị n'obodo a kwesịrị ịnwa anwa na-adị anaghị ndị mmadụ si jiri federal location nke Nigeria wee rụọ anyị ọrụ every month ka e na-enwe federal location. Okay, a na-agwa anyị okwu maka security. A na-enwe security dịsị na a na-ese ndị fọmụ federal na-agbata na steeti. Maka ego na a na-realize more than 600 million a na-realize every month na steeti. Onwere ihe eji arụ a na-anakwa ndị mmadụ ihe abụkwa mmadụ ya ebu pịa ụda ma odobe gala na ebe ile aka narị atak iruo na apịaba anya na agbata ogbede na igwe lokal gọọmenti ebe anụwa iri afụ mmadụ ubute akpụ ọkụ n'ugwu ya bịa butie na-apịa wee lee onye bịa golo ego anya narị ụgwọ anị narị ego onye bịa golo egolu mgbe o yebu wee na-erie n'ihi agụụ dị abịa nakwalie ego mmadụ kpụrụ ewu bịa lee anaghị ego anị onye golo ewu abịaka n'ali ego ife okwesịrị gọọmenti n'elu ụzọ a na-alụ anyị from 9 miles to Opi Nsukka for long we've been talking about that road si mee ya ka ọ dịgane conducive ka ọ dị ihe na ka mmadụ nwee ike na-aga ebe ahụ ụzọ ahụ ọ ka nọ na ọkpatụ sisi for how many years olitebu uke ebe a tọglezo bụ iru opi nwa na-ekwu okwu ya n'elu nwanne anyị nwoke ka a ga-abụrụ aja ndị ntọ tọlịa na ụmụnko ebe a ebe onye nte ọ bụ anyị nwee sekuriti gọvanọ nọkwa ife niile a na-eme ndị mmadụ a na-anwụsisi n'agụụ ị na-akọrọ anyị na taksị gbago na taksị gbada ekwusodị gọvanọ anyị na-apụ shu inwe 30 billion naira for tax emoto maọbụ ihe na a ga-eji wee mee ihe na ị na-atụ 30 billion nwanyị na ndị na-achị na agụụ na-egbufa si rapụgodi taksị si ji federal location wee rụbara anyị ọrụ ka ndị mmadụ kuchi ume n'elu ife price of commodity price of food nọ na-apịa kịta ndị mmadụ a na-anwụsịsị ịbata n'ime ime obodo ndị mmadụ afụla ego ihe eji wee gaa ụlọ ọgwụ ihe afụ kịta na oke nye our primary health centers ekwesịrị itinye gasị doctors oke ị na-agwa anyị okwu na nkwesịrị ịdị na-enye gọọmenti ma gọvanọ encourage maọbụ inye advice ife anyị alụ wanyị na enwere special advisor to the gọvanọ enwere onye na-enyefe ndụmọdụ a na-akwụ ụgwọ pemont mụọ ada akwụ ụgwọ mbịa nyebe gọvanọ ndụmọdụ
Olimbo. Okay.
Ndị a nọ n'ebe a obi adịrọ m mma n'ife ahụ na-akpọ ebe obodo adịrọ mma
ọ dị mma anyị anụghị ife ikwu ka anyị nabata onye ọzọ
onye otu ya adịrọ mma na-agabiga
daalụ sọ DJ Olimbo. Okay, we'll take another call. 0809-888-925 0809-888-925. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Afa gị na-ebisi akpọ. Okay, go ahead.
Ihe m chọrọ ikwu ogo na ya na-ekwe na ndị a na-ahụ na-ekwe na-enweta nwere 21.7%.
The line is breaking. Noyali tone odo ka anyị na-anụ ife ị na-ekwu. Hello, ngwa ganiru. Very well, ganiru.
So, ihe ọ na-ekwu
Okay, do call us back. I will take the last call. Tupu anyị anachite piachizi okwu a 0809-888-925 0809-888-925. Shana anyị na-ekwu maka tax system in Enugu and matters arising. Hello. Hello. Okay. Okay, we'll take the last call. I maka ga nabata onye ọzọ tupu anyị apịachie 0809-888-925. Hello. Okay, amara m ife bụ nsogbu kịta, but anyị ga-anacha zebe nebo Obinna Collins. Okay, let's take this call. Ife na-ebe ka na-ebekwa. Okay, tupu anyị pịachie, kedu ife nwere itinyekwu? Before then, okay, Zulike Chiedozie, let's hear you first.
Enwero nnukwu ihe ọzọ nwere itinye. Nebo has actually said everything, and from the tax justice and governance platform, what we basically are recommending is for a proper assessment to be done by the government, so that traders and the traders can actually, their capacity to pay taxes can actually be assessed, and so that they can be levied with that regards.
Okay, all right, thank you. Nebo Obinna Collins.
Iwe mekwu bụ na onye gbaa igwe si na ọ ya akwụ taksị mana aka m adịrị ya, mana ife anyị na-ene anya bụ ọ bụrụ tata ka o bido, ọ bụrụ sọ na be anyị ka ife siri ike, and ọ bụrụ kwasa na be ofu onye ka ife siri ike siri onye ọbụla. Ọ bụrụkwa na nna asị na ihe osisi ike amagbuo onwe gọọmenti ma na ife siri ike eji wee bute ihe palliative si ka ekesịsịba, and ụfọdụ ya si na o zuru ndị na-achọ palliative karịzị palliative dị nke bụ eziokwu. So our brother si from Ogbede wee kpọọ nwere ebe ọ tụghachara aka, ọ sị ka efe mere oge na-eji enye gọọmenti advice ebe gọọmenti nwere special advisors. Ife mere na-ewu na special advisor anwa esiro na each community. Enugu State will up to 261 political wards. Each advisor, government enwero 261 advisors see from each ward. You understand? So, but onwe ka esi strategize, onwe ka esi distribute to representation in Enugu State democracy. Earlier before that, I mentioned the issue of House of Assembly. And were 24 representatives. Igbo Etiti Ebonyasi wekpa anyị were 2. Igbo Etiti East and Igbo Etiti West. So onyagwa mo na mmadụ na-aba afọ bụ ndị befa aha nalutu uno, and nyana fa aha akpanwu ọgwafasị nna nakwa ife anyị na-agabiga na ga tinye aka gwara anyị ọga anyị ukwu ka ọ nyere anyị aka n'ihe a. Onye nke anwe nọbedo gị nso bụ gọọmenti ịfụrụ anya, and you only make use of what you have, not what you don't have. So nke abụọ bụ agụụ dị nsogbu karịrị, mana anyị agbachizi nkịtị na nsogbu karịrị si ka nsogbu bụrụ anyị ka mmiri. So ọ bụ na nsogbu karịrị ka ife anyị eme ka nsogbu wee na a na-ekwu okwu federal allocation. Ọ dịka federal allocation ara ka otu one. Nigeria enwere ego. Ịma na a na-ekwu ife. I was telling our people how our people seems that like they are far. Nigeria enwere ego. Nigeria na-ebi ego eji akwụ salary. In the last administration, ebile ego wee kwụọ salary, na afụrụ ego eji kwụọ salary. Last month, federal civil servants delay their salary maka ebe a na-achụ ego. So these things are the realities on ground. Ị na-asị ka echebe federal allocation. Ego na-ebe ego Enugu State na-anata every month from federal allocation. Ndị Igbo Etiti, ego ne kafa na-anata every month from federal allocation as a local government. So these are the realities that pose as challenges. We cannot dwell and start talking about hardship. Hardship is everywhere. I mentioned it clearly that people in government are not strangers. They are not aliens. They are our brothers, sisters. They are from our villages, kindred. Some of them are our church members. Ago na ago. Our pastors and priests are preaching about hunger. They listen to it. But now, how can they solve that problem? Are you leaving it for them? They can only do their best. If onye amaro, onye amaro adazu, they can only do their best. So our now role and responsibility as voters, ndị tụrụ fa
ndị bi elefe aka n'akwụkwọ bụ nna ife unu na-eme emetarọkwa ya saịdị a si tinye aka saịdị a si mee nya saịdị a na ọ ya dị mma bikos ọ dịlị ha metụ ya ọfụma ọ dịlị gị wa mma dịlị mma. I mentioned chapter 2 of the constitution si na ọ bụ na nke na-emetara ọfụma na ya gbakwụkwọ gọọmenti akwụkwọ na kọtụ si na o metara nke na afụnụkwa m onye melie. Eji m Osun steeti wee nye example si nekwa Osun steeti na ejiri ụgwọ ọnwa ebe a for 7 months ka gọvanọ nke anwachi ndị administration ọchịchịalị wee pụọ na onwerekwa onye gbaa gọọmenti anwa akwụkwọ si na fe akwụrụ ụgwọ onye nke achi gabala onwe onye ya abatazi ya ebu isie. So we should be very smart and know how to navigate through government. It's not about Igbo Zogbo, but to get the result. The result is to ensure that you have a better life. So we have to be very strategic. We have to be very tactical in engagement. We know how to engage on issues.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Neba ka anyị ga-enweta anya bụ emume keta na njedebe cheta na ife anyị na-ebele anya na ya bụ anyị kwu maka tax system in Enugu and matters arising ya usoro eji akwụ ụgwọ isi na Enugu steeti na okwu ndị so ya. Ndị anyị na-afa nọ na studio ndị ọbịa ndị tinyere ọnụ n'okwu bụ Nebo Obinna Collins bụ member Enugu State Tax Justice Platform. Dalo.
Thank you very much.
Nekenekwazi Zulike Chedozie, Civil Resource Development of Documentation Center, SEDOC.
Dalurine.
Okay. Nekenekwazi gị bụ onye ọma gela anyị ntị n'ọnụ sonyere anyị n'oge ọzọ n'emume nsibidi Igbo Amaka. Abụ m onye Pinopino ka ọ dị.